Okay, so you've got Pyro set up and installed, and now it's time to create your first page. And actually, Pyro already comes with a page created, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. If we log in and go to the Pages module, you'll see that we've already got a welcome page. And if we view this, it's just a generic welcome page, nothing special at all. So to get an idea of like how this works, let's dig into this existing page first. If we click on it to edit, we have the title. This is going to be used for the meta title. For instance, by default, if you don't include a meta title below, we've got the slug, which is used in the route. We've got a content field, and I'll show you where this comes from later on. We've got some SEO stuff. We've got a theme layout here, which it does not actually have a value, so we'll cover that. The page is enabled. It's the home page, which means that the URL here is not used. It's actually just it works like that. But if it were not the home page, we would have to include /welcome in our URL. Let's see. Display the page navigation. If you use the structure function that comes with pages, then this will include this page, this option here, and if you disable it, then it'll remove the page and it'll be effectively hidden from your navigation. This does not have any effect on websites built using the navigation module with more robust navigation needs. And require an exact URI match. And if this is disabled, basically you can do / whatever the path is for this page, and then / anything afterwards. And it'll kind of take based on whatever is routed first. If there's similar routes that could be matched, it'll take the first matching route. And you can use it to pass parameters into pages and things like that. And then finally, allowed roles, and this will restrict access based on role automatically, and if they're not, then it'll go ahead and kick them out to the login page. So if we go ahead and change this, obviously that's going to change our content. And if I tab back over and reload, there we have it. And I just want to show you one cool thing. Let me put this into debug mode because it's not enabled elsewhere. If it's in debug mode, you'll see this, otherwise you won't see it. But let's go true. So if we're working locally, it's kind of nice to be able to, if you're using Markdown or an editor field type or what have you, it's kind of nice. Some of the field types down here have the content string dumped to file, so that you can just come over here and clear out all this stuff and load this file, and there we have it. And the really nice thing is if we go back and take a look at this, it's automatically there, and if we reload this page, it's automatically synced to our database. So that's kind of a nice thing to use when you're working with like kind of scaffolding out your website. You would of course then need to dump your database and push it up to production or something like that, whatever your workflow is there. So let's take a look at types here. And there's pages can have each page has a page type. It's a type of a page, and it comes with just this default one out of the box. If we look real quick over in fields, these are custom fields in this module only, so it's only in the pages namespace. So if we were to go ahead and add one, let's pick a file, and we'll just do banner. We'll restrict it to images, and that's fine. Come back over here, and we go to assignments. We see that that's where that content field comes into play. So if we were to go ahead and assign another field, banner, just hit enter, defaults are fine. Come back over to pages, edit here, then you'll see that the banner has been included. And you can, let's see here, change the order of assignments, and that'll change the order that they're displayed in the form. Let's go ahead and put the banner first. And now you'll see the banners right here. Let's use these pants. Love those pants. Great, update. And so what you'll notice is if we reload our page, the content isn't actually there, and that's because the page type has a layout of what the content should be. So the page type dictates like the innermost page content, And if we edit one, we'll see that page layout here. So any special, any of your fields that you have assigned to your page, what this effectively does is defines the content block that is in your theme layout. And your theme layout is defined here. So if you have different layouts with different functionality built in, maybe different blocks that you can extend from your page layout here, then that's where you would choose your theme layout. And your theme layout really shouldn't know too much about your page. Every once in a while I'll develop page functionality into my theme layout, but preferably they're decoupled and you can kind of connect them using blocks and stuff from Twig. But it's just kind of, if you're building a theme for a project, I have no problem kind of colliding the two interests there. I don't keep them super single responsibility type. I let them mesh. So what we want to do here is we have the page object that's passed in automatically, and let's just do page, what we call it, banner, and we'll do make, and we'll just spit that out as an image. So if we update this and reload, then we'll see our pants. Nice, beautiful, high-res pants. And that's how that works. Generally speaking, when I personally build a website, just your basic website is probably going to have, I use default for like your wide template, and then I'll usually create a sidebar layout in the theme so that we have default, and then I'll create another called HTML, and this will be for custom HTML pages. And this handler will be used as the default. So if you don't specify one for the page, this one will be used. The theme layout will be. Handlers I'm not going to get into too much because for one, those are being improved, but by the time documentation hits on the website, handlers will be improved. The site will, or the pages module will have changed a little bit, but all of these concepts and things I'm telling you now will still apply. So the theme layout will be the default value of the page, and this is going to we'll just leave that as is. And then for this, for my HTML pages, usually I put page.html.render, and you can leave out the render, but you'll get toString exception errors if you have an exception before the toString method on that field type presenter. So let's save that, and let's go ahead and make that HTML field just so we have something there. New field, I like to use the editor. Call it HTML, Twig, save that. Let's go create an HTML page. So you'll notice this one has /testing, and it's not going to be the home page, so we'll actually have to have that in our URL. Oh, you know what? I didn't assign those fields. So let's assign both of those. We'll assign, actually let's just assign HTML, that'd be fine. And go back to pages, and now we can create one. Yeah. And in here we can do something like we'll leave the SEO stuff alone. The theme layout is being defaulted. We can change that. I like to just kind of unset it, just to let the page type dictate that. The page is enabled. If you do not have the page enabled, what's going to happen is you'll still be able to view the page if you're logged in, and then it'll give you when you click on view, it'll give you a secure URL to share with coworkers, or if somebody needs to review the page that doesn't necessarily have a login just yet, or you don't want to give them a login. It's not the home page. Display it in the navigation, that's fine, and require an exact URI match, that's all fine. Okay, now we can view this, and you'll see up here our route has changed. And let's go ahead and disable this page, and I'll show you the difference here. Close this tab. So now this page is disabled, and when we go back to pages and view it, we can still check it out, but you see it's got this preview URL. And if we go back to testing, and it's not going to be found because it's not enabled. So that's kind of a cool little feature. Aside from an HTML page type and a default page type, which is again, I don't do types for columns generally. I do types for purpose. So, if I have like a custom HTML snippet or whatever that something that loops over entries, then you can do that within your HTML pages. And then the default ones is just usually normal. What you see is what you get content. I'm working on a grid and repeater field type. That'll be amazing for populating information. Or you can load up more than one field other than the content field. But I'll also make a home page type, a home page type, yeah. And that's for the landing page. And the reason I do that is because it lets the user come into the Pages module and click on the pages and manage most of what they need to do as far as content. So I'll put like banners, and I'll put featured posts or featured vehicles or whatever you're building. The stuff that's get populated, that's pulled into the home page, I'll put those fields on the home page type, just because it helps kind of centralize the stuff that the end user is working with. So that's kind of the crash course of how pages work. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll just keep plugging along and showing you guys more add-ons.